because the heart worships Allah as though it's seeing Him. How do we arrive at stage 3? It is not the subject of the lecture tonight, but my lecture would be incomplete if I do not make at least some reference to the method. How to arrive from Islam to Iman? Simple. Obey the rules. Obey the rules. Worship the Lord. Follow the guidance. And do it with sincerity. With sincerity. Do not say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, meaning Allah is sovereign. But you're saying it with your own lips, that's all, only with your lips. Because in actual fact, you recognize the constitution and the state of sovereign. Huh? What nonsense. You should be ashamed of yourself, saying Allahu Akbar, because you don't believe Allah is Al-Akbar. If Allah is Al-Akbar, then Allah's law is the supreme law. But if you believe, no, the law of the state is the supreme law, and any law which is inconsistent with the law of the state, and any law which is inconsistent with the law of the state would be void to the extent of its inconsistency. Oh, you don't worship Allah anymore as Al-Akbar. You have now transferred your allegiance to the state. That disease is affecting almost all of mankind, all around the world today. It's called shirk. So if you want Islam to enter into the heart, make Allah Al-Akbar with sincerity in your life. But when Islam enters into the heart and you have Iman, then there is a surah of the Quran called Surah An-Nur. And in Surah An-Nur there is an ayah number 35, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks and He says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ اللَّهُ نُورُ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. That Allah is the nur of the samawat. I used to translate that as the heavens. Wrong. Sama is not heaven. Jannah is heaven. So what is samawat? Allah is the nur of the samawat. How many are they? How many samawat are there? Seven. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. He created for you everything on the earth. ثم استوى إلى السماء. Then He directed His attention to the sky. فسواهن سبع سماوات. And He fashioned it into 7 samawat. وهو بكل شيء عليم. And He has knowledge of all things. So He is the nur of all these samawat, of all these strata, plural of stratum, of space and of time. Nur comes from Him, and nur comes from Him through the samawat and the earth, because He is the nur of the samawat and the earth. مثل نوره كمشكاة. To understand His nur, you must turn to a mishkat, a hollow space where a lamp is normally put. And Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said that that hollow space is fi qalbil mu'min. There is a hollow space in the heart of the one who has Iman. And in that hollow space, that mishkat, there is misbah, a lamp. And then you know the ayah, and you can study it at home because we don't have the time. If you want nur, if you want to be able to see with the internal eye, and therefore not be considered to be cattle, then two things are necessary when you have Iman. And that is, number one, you got to make sure that the glass is clean. The glass must be clean. There must be no stains on the glass. And this is called the process of purification, tazkiyah. And when the glass is clean, then you need something else. You need oil. And you're not going to get the oil just sitting down at home doing nothing. You get the oil by struggling in the cause of Allah. As you struggle, and you struggle for His sake, and He becomes the cause of your life. I live for you. I'll die for you. Everything I do it for you. Now you produce oil. Not like the fellow who says, "Oh Allah, everything I'll give to you, but not my US green card, that I cannot give up." So, number one, that the glass must be clean, and number two, that the oil must be produced. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause the flame to enter into the heart. And when that lamp is lit in the heart, then anything you do that is an act of ibadah, an act of worship, and is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is now transformed into nur. And therefore the ayah says, Nurun ala nur. Light upon light, upon light, upon light. Because the lamp is lit, and every act of worship that is accepted is now transformed into nur. This constitutes the answer to the question, what is spirituality in Islam? It is al-ihsan, and it is the capacity for internal, intuitive, spiritual insight. The capacity to see not only with the external eye, but also with the internal eye. The capacity to see with the nur of Allah. When a man can see with the nur of Allah, then the Prophet said of such a man, he said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, he said, ittaqu firasatal mu'min, fa innahu yanzuru bin nurillah. Fear the wisdom of such a man who sees with the nur of Allah. Fear his wisdom, because this man sees with the nur of Allah. Fear him. Ittaqu firasatal mu'min. Fear the commanding wisdom. Fear the internal, intuitive, spiritual insight of such a believer. فَإِنَّهُ يَنْظُرُ بِنُورِ اللَّهِ. Because when he sees with more than a piece.